Hi, I'm Diana De Rosa, and I'm with Beau and Kirk, and these are the guys that started this whole thing. They founded the Tryon International Film Festival. So let's start with you, Beau.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this year?
I think that this year was wonderful. Coming out of last year was the hybrid pandemic and a community that was concerned about having a live festival. And really embracing what we're doing. This year, I was concerned going into it that it was going to really not resonate the way I really envisioned it to. And then it all came together, and a lot of it was last minute. Our team has been incredible, very attentive. This is the first year that I really feel like we've gotten the media attention from radio, from television, from print, to get the voice out to our immediate region. Let's circle Tryon, like a 90-mile radius around Tryon. The people that are going to come in for the day, come in and visit our community for the weekend. And I feel like now people are saying, I've heard of Tryon, and not just because of horses. I've heard of Tryon because of the Tryon International Film Festival. So this year, I'm exhaling because it has been, it's been difficult. It's from a logistical standpoint, there's so many moving parts, and you want to stay on top of everything, and you want to be at 5 different places at one time. But the fact that we brought the film festival more down to Trade Street to give it more of a festive atmosphere, an environment that people feel like they're walking around with their lanyards on, and and they're being welcomed by the community. That visual, or that that was what was important that this year, that everybody came up to us and said, you have to do it this way every year. It's great that the Fine Arts Center is hosting education. It's up on the hill, but the festival needs to be seen by everybody that drives by, and it needs to feel like there's a big presence in this Tryon community.
I have to agree with you. I thought that was the best part of it, that it was really, you felt like you were a part of this big community that was doing this. So I want your take on it too.
Well, what I think is really interesting is we get this content, and it's selected by our group that selects it. We don't know how it's going to be received, but what I found out this year, and you saw it, is how the public and the people that came here receive these films, and that makes the festival. It's not only just the content that we have, but how well the public here receives it. And we had really we had 5 world premieres here.
5 world premieres,
and they were all
amazing.
From what capacity, types of audiences and stuff. But each one, we had the Q&As afterwards, and it was received so well. And it was just so cool that we had people literally saying, this is one of the best films I've ever seen, and life-changing.
I've heard that word a few times, life-changing.
And I mean, and it wasn't just on I Am We, Paragold. I mean, it was on Unpacking. It was just wow. It's just the level of interest, and so that matters. Is how it is received, and we don't know how that's going to happen, but luckily it's received well.
And I'd like to add to that, because we have our jury system, our selective system is not probably standard. We judge, when we select a film, we say, okay, do you think our audience, this is the right film for this Tryon audience, or and some of the films that we watched in the pre-selection stage, I was like, I just don't know, and then we ended up selecting it, and that ended up being such a popular, and I'm not going to name what film, but I was like, I don't know if this film's really going to resonate. And the next thing you know, it is like standing ovations, and and the audience is in tears, and
really,
and again, I've heard the word life-changing several times. And those are the films that I was actually maybe a little skeptical and say, is this for us? And it ended up being not just about us. It became really, truly, about everything.
Yeah, I think that there was a resonance this year we've had COVID and all these things, and we've had all these other things with people trying to get from one country to the next. But this year seemed to be people dealing with their themselves and how to overcome things, whether it's the things that haunt them in their past, whether they've got physical disabilities, that how they push their way through it. I mean, without that to me is really cool. I mean, and that was a kind of a thematic thing that we had, with people trying to overcome.
I want to support
and it's
that
happy.
Because so many times when I was interviewing people, I said to them, it just seemed too close, and I'd say to them, "Is this have something to do with you?" And over and over and over again, including the one that fell into the well.
Oh
right?
yeah, that
the
was
ball from Grace.
Sure,
she actually fell in. It was
Yep.
so many stories. I mean, even the funnier ones. I mean, not funny, but you know what I'm saying. They were really digging deep inside them and saying these things.
Yeah, and I think that the viewers this particular year really wanted to hear this thing about hope. How can we deal with the challenges that we're dealing with in this world? And it's been so nice. It's very uplifting, and people are saying, like, this changed my life. Seeing this film is going to make me be, like Beau was saying, be able to deal with my challenges.
Yeah.
And we've all been through them, and this gentleman right here, it helps us.
And a film festival is not always about happy-go-lucky films. It's not about content that, you need to be challenged emotionally sometimes by some of the content that it's some of it, back with our human rights and category, our dignity category, you may not want to sit through this topic, but you do. And it's going to change your outlook on several different things, and it's tough to sit through it. And then when you have the subject of that documentary or that feature that's sitting on the stage with a Q&A, and you could see in real time, in person, in flesh and blood, and you could ask them a question. And with with having Willow here, there's a lot of anxiety for myself, and I think even Ron and his team, of having Willow here, because this was the first time she's spoken really in front of a live audience.
Seeing the complete
film. So there was like, okay, well, how is that going to, how is she going to be? Are we going to be okay with this?
Yeah.
And there are people in the audience that probably have, not similar to that degree of nature, but they've had abuse in their life, whether it's sexual or physical or emotional abuse. And all of a sudden, it brings up those emotions. It brings up their past,
Right.
and now they have someone on stage that is overcoming and healing, finally healing, from a lifetime of abuse. And maybe it touches somebody in the audience that says, "Okay, now it's my time to heal.
Yeah.
Now it's my time to deal with what abuse that I had in my life."
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think that now you're extending it. You're showing these films, but you're reaching an audience that now is taking those things and learning from it. But you're also adding another component, the educational. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I'll say this. We've tried to have this type of capability since year one, and it's challenging. The first year we started doing this, we started having these educational breakout sessions, and they would work. But they would be, some would be, visited, others might not be, and that was a kind of a challenge for us. This year with Ashley Crane, it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And I went up, we devoted one center, the Tryon Fine Arts Center. I went up there, and I'd go up there, and the room would have 40 people. I went up there today, and there was a panel of, this was over acting and how you could get your children into acting, and how the best way to do this, the best way to do that. There were 8 people on the panel, probably 40 people in the audience.
Wow.
And these were serious. It was like an institute, and that's what we want to do. We want to have an institute component, not just that kind of thing. We're going to teach you how to sing or whatever. This just was really great. We owed that to Ashley Crane. She was, the way she's devoted to kind of pulling this program together, and that's really what it was. It was great.
So I have to ask you a question, though. It's not easy. I mean, this is a passion for you guys, and you're really putting a lot of time and energy.
Yeah.
So when you look into the future, how do you help solve that part of it so that it becomes, you're actually here and having a good time and not being stressed?
I don't know if that's possible.
And maybe it's not, but are you, looking into the future a little bit and thinking about how to do that?
It takes people. The thing about it is it's such a unique thing to do a film festival, from not only the design of it, you know what I mean, and the operational side of it is a unique thing, and then the getting the content and making sure that it all comes together. It's something that really takes only a few people that have been working on it for a long time. And
we work on such a tight budget. When I said on stage, we're all in. Credit cards maxed out. We know our bank account's probably got $12 in it. It takes, and I've got personal, expenses on my credit card, and he paid rent this month out of his personal checking. This is, when we say we're all in, that means we're throwing everything at that wall, and we hope it sticks. Because at the end of the day, we could end up being in debt, but we want to throw everything we at this so we can do it again.
Yeah.
This is never about a money venture. This is all, if I could break even, I'd be happy. It's not about money. I don't care about that side of it. I do want to be able to be sustainable.
Yes.
I want to be able to grow this to where I'm not looking at being in debt and being financially, consumed by it. So, but that, that goes back, my wife catered 5 events, including the gala.
Unbelievable.
So not only are we producing all this stuff, at the festival and running these, these events and screenings, we're also going home after these parties, and we're up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Boiling shrimp.
Boiling shrimp and, cooking beef tenderloin and it's become, my wife and I, I'm proud to say this at the same time, but because it's reality. After this big reception we had Thursday night, the VIP thing, we went home at 9 o'clock, and then we cooked until 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And my wife, she was cooking, stuff, and she splashed boiled water on her face.
Why am I doing this?
And she started to break down, and I started to break down, and we just kind of had to both, pick ourselves up and say, okay, let's get through Thursday. Let's get through Friday. Let's get through Saturday. Let's get through Sunday.
Really
and now that we're sitting on stage with you now, we can exhale. My wife is, Ashley's at the Nest, having a little wine reception, but the reality is, it is stressful because we want to be perfect.
But you could not do that with Beau and Ashley if they were not supportive of one another.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she does that and she owns it. And then she supports Beau and how they work together. You have to be supportive of one another, and that's the beauty of the whole thing.
So I want you to think about this festival, and I want you to think about now and what makes you the most proud. What are the couple of things that really make you the most proud, Beau?
What makes me the most proud is seeing filmmakers share their stories with each other, and we saw that. I saw that last night when unpacking, and sometimes I'll introduce 2 filmmakers, and then I'll step out of the mix, and then I'll kind of maybe 5-10 minutes later I'll kind of peek my head back over there, and they're over there just sharing life stories and adventures and filmmaking, and there's going to be people that are going to leave here tonight and leave here for the weekend that they're going to work together in the future.
Yeah.
They're going to collect each other's numbers. They'll be a part of that filmmaking network, and they'll help each other. And when you bring in creative minds, creative headspace, and you get these people in one room, it's very energetic. And I mentioned this earlier to someone. 8 years ago, I think we had a different mission. Our mission was more black and white. It was, we want to bring commercials and production to this area to support the retailers and economic impact to the community. And year 8, I'm like, okay, that's great. That'll take care of itself. Now, I just want to get creative people in one room and have a conversation, and I want to get people to collaborate with each other. And that's exactly what I'm seeing, is these creative minds walking the streets of Tryon and blessing us with their time.
And what makes you most proud?
Well, the same thing. I mean, when I go into an educational breakout center, a session, and I see a panel full of people that these people haven't even met me, you know, and I see a room full of people, or they're doing this session or that session. They don't even know me. I don't care about that. That's really cool. I mean, it just makes me feel so good. I see someone sitting on the floor doing this, you know, with a with a t-shirt on. That's really cool. But boy, I'll tell you what, when I see, when we give an award and someone comes up on stage not realizing that and we don't even realize that she's won, and she comes up and she's crying, you know, you see the excitement in their face. It's what we are providing the filmmaker and the community. Yes. That makes it for me. I don't care, you know, it's just really something.
And you know, you look at the Hollywood, the Grammys and the Oscars and all that crap. Sorry, you know, but it's like, you know, you're looking at you know $50-100 million productions, and they got teams of this, and they got money to throw at the wind, and I mean, it's just, and they get up on stage and it's blah blah blah. Yeah. No, the filmmakers that come to Tryon Film Festival, you know, they're all in. Just like we are. They're all in financially. They've borrowed money from every family member they know. They are getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning freaking out that they can't finish their project. They can't continue. They feel like they can't keep it going. They don't know how it's going to happen. It takes them 4 or 5 years to complete.
It's terrible.
And now they're on our stage accepting an award. Yeah. So I relate to that. So they're, you know, to that emotion that they said, I did it. I started from a concept to you know, to pre-production, to shooting, to the editing and the fundraising, and now they get to celebrate all that energy that went into and that pain, you know, to complete a film. And because there's not, I mean, some of these projects are done with no money, no budgets. Yeah. And that's who I want to celebrate. I don't care about the Marvel stuff and the big studio stuff.
Right, exactly.
You know, there's a world for
right?
that. There's a world for that, and you know, they'll go on and do their thing, but I want to give the voice to the independent filmmaker that is all in.
Passion projects. Well, I want to thank you both for chatting with me. I'm going to give you one last chance to say final words. Is there something you'd like to say?
Every year we say, you know, are we going to do it again? Are we going to do it again? And so I look forward to year 9. I think year 9 is going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to year 10. I think anytime you hit that kind of a milestone, in the way that this Tryon Film Festival is growing and compounding and growth every year, I'm excited to see how the tentacles reach out in this world. You know, I've heard many people say that this is a great film festival. You should be proud. The community should be proud. But I want to see it continue to be something that just takes a life of its own. But you know, in saying that, we have to be prepared as a team to make sure that we grow it the right way, so it doesn't become out of control. Right. And right now, I think we're at the cusp of that. And I'm ready to, you know, re-energize the team. Let's take a little bit of time off after this and regroup. Yay. But I'm ready to get back at it and go to the next step and go year to year to year.
It's a year-long project. And you have any last words?
Well, I mean, you know, how we feel at the end of the festival, and whether we feel like we had a success, is again driven by the response we've gotten from the people coming here, the filmmakers, you know, and that's enough to fuel me. Mm-hmm. You know, because
seeing For Paloma get up on stage and accept award, and it took her a minute and a half to you know, to collect herself. You know, she was emotional, and that's that filmmaker that didn't know if it was going to get completed. Didn't know if she was going to be able to get the money and finish it. And it was such a beautiful story. And now that she's up there accepting awards, she could bring that back to her team. And all of a sudden, it breathes energy and life back into that project to keep it going. Keep it going.
We're done. You know, we're going to go decompress a little bit, have a glass of wine, which we're looking forward to doing. But we also know that, you know, some of these filmmakers, like that were here tonight, they're ecstatic, and we had such a great gala, you know, here, and they came, they saw this thing, they were going like, this is
you have
unbelievable.
To look at the B-roll I did for that. I put the B-roll up. It looks great walking through.
You know, and so they're and they're going to get on their planes and go back to California or wherever they're going to go to. And, I think they're going to really feel good. And that matters to us. This is, and Beau has seen some of the other film festivals and the egos involved and things like that. This is not about us.
It's not
at
about
all.
us.
This is just, it's about the film festival itself and the filmmakers.
Yeah.
And,
Well, thank you both very much. And I'm Diana De Rosa reporting for the Tryon International Film Festival.
thank you.
Thank you. Good night.